Okay, so I keep trying to make this video live, and I feel like I'm not doing a very good job when I'm fighting and trying to think up ideas at the same time. So I'm going to do this afterwards and just throw random gameplay on it, and that's going to hurt it in the sense that I can't talk you through parts of the gameplay, but I still will hopefully be able to go out and show off whatever's going on or whatever. Like, the gameplay should just be like me going over and like I'll fight some people or something. Now, there are things that first off, I've played through all of the main missions. I've done a lot of the side stuff. I have like 20 hours into this game. I'd say that I'm pretty much done with it, and I think that my opinion is like I think I have enough information from the game to go ahead and say my opinion and not be ill-informed. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I think that this game is fun until a certain point, and I think if you play it right, you can get a lot of time out of it. But at the same time, I don't expect a lot of people to get 20 hours out of it. That was just because I'm trying to do all this extra stuff that I didn't want to do and did not enjoy, so I could make a video about it. Okay? I don't assume a lot of people do that. I did not like most of the main missions. A lot of them, there's 20 main missions, by the way. There you go. Spoiler, I guess this stuff will probably have some minor spoilers. No, like, story spoilers, though. So, hopefully it's not a big deal to you. Like, 20 missions, like, cool, I said 20 missions. What does that mean? How is that a spoiler? I don't know. Maybe somebody will consider it a spoiler. I have no idea. But yeah, 20 missions. They aren't... most of them feel like more side missions. Like, a lot of the side missions just give you, like, BS to do. Like, they're challenges, like you'd have in a game, that give you, like, little extra stuff. So what you'll do is, like, one of them's like, get on this animal and shoot people with an arrow while riding on the animal, or sneak around town and go ahead and hug this guy for 20 seconds for some reason to get him to yell. Like, what? Why am I doing this? Go pick these 3 different kinds of plants. Go find this one animal on the map and shoot it. Like, I don't get enjoyment out of those. I can understand those being in the game for the sake of, being challenges, but not things that will actually, like, motivate me to keep playing the game or that would make the game good, okay? This game is very open world. Like, you just run around the entire time, like, not knowing what you're doing, because the missions aren't super long or anything. They aren't crazy. It's not a super linear game. It's all, like, open world, but then the missions tie into the open world. So, for example, the Nemesis system that you use, which is just, hey, there's an orc army, and they kind of, like, unique a little bit. But again, once you play for long enough, they start overlapping, and it's not very unique at all. Because obviously you can only have so much, you can only make so many. This guy looks like this until he looks the same as this guy, which is to be expected. But yes, I will admit the Nemesis system is cool at first. I don't think that I enjoy it anymore now, and some people may like it more than me, or could even like it way less than me. Now, where this game would shine, the cool thing about this game would be your powers and the combat system, right? Your powers make you feel like a superhero, okay? You have cool, over-the-top powers. You're a human, but you have, like, these ghost powers as well, so you can, like, punch somebody with ghost and then do these super fast attacks that are really cool. You can, like, use special ghost powers. Once you hit somebody enough, you can do really strong attacks that, like there's an execute. So once I hit someone 8 times, or just anything 8 times, I get an execute move, which will one hit anyone except for the people part of the Nemesis system, some of the higher-ups. So what you'll do is you'll just keep mashing the X button until you get one of those, and then you'll hit people, and you'll take them out, and that's cool. But the combat, again, the thing that the whole game revolves around, gets really repetitive. There are many different things that you can choose from, abilities that you can unlock, but whenever it comes down to it, hitting X and then using an execute is the very best way to do it. There's no reason to use anything else. So it's just really repetitive, and you just continue to do that the entire fight. There's like a handful of people that aren't damaged by the execute. Like, you have to be like a level 20, an orc, has to be like a level 20 if there to even like be a chance that he's going to be a combat master, which means you can't use an execute. And if that happens, there's plenty of other ways around it. And what really sucks is like if you can't do that, if there's ever anything that's too difficult for some reason, what you have to do is you just have to wait it out and just get pop shots at them with arrows, or you just have to like make them follow you for long enough to set a trap. Which honestly, like, it's kind of mundane. Like, it's just kind of annoying to have to do that. Like, early in the game when I didn't have a lot of powers, it was kind of difficult at some bosses. Like, I shouldn't be taking on War Chief 3 hours into the game, probably. But, yeah, so what I had to do is I'd be like, okay, I'll get him next to this fire pit, and I'll blow it up. And then he freaks out, and he runs away. So just, like, I just won right there. Because whenever they flee, if they have a fear of something, and they flee, they leave everyone behind. And so you just follow just him, and whenever they flee, you instantly are able to grab them. So that means you can do anything to them. You win if you catch up to them. And guess what? There's an ability with your arrow. And by the way, whenever you pull out your bow, time freezes. Like, it goes into slow motion. Crazy. And there's an ability you have to where if you shoot someone, you warp to them. So you just do that. Like, if you ever have an issue, you just make them freak out over something and then warp to them away from the battle and everyone if you can't fight for some reason, which you probably will be able to fight pretty easily because, so again, the X, you just keep hitting X and then you execute people. That's pretty much all you do. And if there are any people that want to beat you up, you hit Y to counter them, or you just jump away. I'm like going off of the Xbox controls, but I played it on PC, so whatever. I'm still gonna go off of the Xbox controls, I guess, just because it's easier for me to say, because I don't know, I played it with a controller and I don't actually know the PC stuff. I will say I think it is easier to play it with mouse and keyboard. There are quick time events in this game. There's a lot of them, a disappointingly large amount. And it's not a ton of them. It's just they're always in places you don't want them to be. But I'll get to that in a second. Now, what I was saying with the quick time events, there's like a recovery system. Whenever you get downed, whenever you're low on health, you'll have a chance to save yourself, and it'll show like a little circle on the screen. And you move your mouse onto the circle, which is like instantly with a mouse, but with a controller, there's a ton of like the sensitivity isn't good. Like, I have the sensitivity maxed out, and it takes half the time to move my analog stick over to the circle, whereas the mouse, that doesn't even take a fourth of the time. You just instantly move it over there, and then you click whatever button shows up. So it is easier to play with a keyboard and mouse, I do find. I didn't want to be smashing the hell out of my mouse, because that's all you do is left click the entire game. If you ever have any trouble, what you can do is pick off individual people with the slow motion arrow shooting, or you can just jump over people's heads so you are invulnerable, because whenever you go into an animation you become invulnerable. So for example, executing, you're invulnerable. Again, jumping over people's heads, you're invulnerable. I'm trying to think of some more. There are some other like little like side abilities that you can do that'll cause animations as well, but they aren't nearly as good as being able to just execute people. Like, the execute's so strong, there's not really a reason to use anything else. Anyway, back to what I was saying about the quick time events. There are like boss battles for some of the main story missions, but they all just are quick time events, and it sucks. It really sucks, because I don't like the combat system in the game, and I want something to be cooler than that. I want to have like a bigger challenge than just fighting a bunch of random orcs. And so I go to the boss battles expecting something really cool, and it's just like once you hit them, then you go ahead and you hit a button that pops up on screen. That's kind of disappointing. There is one boss battle I can think of where you don't do that, but there are 3 that I can think of where you do. Actually, there are 4 that I can think of where you just do that, and that's really annoying. I don't enjoy that at all. There's stealth in this game, but sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not. Sometimes the orcs just like, I don't know, they just like glitch out and don't realize that you're behind them. Like, you can run while crouched and like be just about as fast as if you're full on running, and it's the exact same amount of stealth as just walking around in stealth. Sometimes during the day you can walk right next to orcs and not notice. Also, I've had where there'll be a huge line of orcs, and if I get behind them, I can go into a knife animation, which is like 2 seconds, and do that for like 8 of them, as long as they don't turn around while I'm knifing their friend that they were just talking to. That's kind of annoying. Like, that's kind of dumb. Yeah, maybe not annoying. It's kind of dumb. I don't like that. I don't think that the stealth is anything crazy. Again, the archery, it like freezes time for you. So I don't really think that that's that great. Like, you're never going to miss a shot. Ever. Even if you're riding on an animal, or if you're just walking around, or if you're doing a bow challenge, you're never going to. And if you, it is a limited time thing though. It's not always in slow motion. But all you have to do is hold down B at someone, and you go ahead and you get your time back. You drain someone, and you can go ahead and do that again. Trying to think if there's anything I'm missing. Things that would be cool to do after the game, like messing with the Nemesis system more, are incorporated into the main missions to where you don't, like, there's no point in doing it over again. You don't get anything out of it by doing it over again after the main story's over, okay? Like, there's a main story mission where you have to take over the war chiefs. You have to make them join you. And so, once I beat the main story, like, there's no reason for me to do that again. I already accomplished that. I'm trying to think. I talked about stealth. I talked about the combat. I talked about archery, which I guess goes into the combat. Oh, in the combat, there are different types of people. There are heavy attacks and light attack enemies. There's some people that have shields. Some people that throw you off whenever you try to jump on them. Some people who, whenever you hit them, they knock you back. There are very, very easy ways to counter all of them. The people that whenever you hit them, they knock you down. What you do is you just counter them, and then they fall to the ground. So you just stab them once, and they die. Let's think. Light attacks, there's no need to, like, there's no counter to that. You just beat them up, and they die. People's shields, you jump over them. People that knock you down whenever you do that, again, you just wait until you can hit the flashing Y button above their head. And then you do that, and then you stab them once, and they die. There are some war chiefs that have... The cool thing about the Nemesis system is how the weaknesses and strengths work, but it's pretty easy to take advantage of them. So even if you are like only, I don't know, like an hour or two into the game and you don't know all that much about the combat, you can just take advantage of people's weaknesses and do that. Like, for example, you can lead someone to a fire if they're afraid of fire, and then you blow them up and they're like, oh no, and then you kill them. There are 2 different types of mounts you can get. Those are kind of cool, but honestly, they're like kind of a pain to track down. So, like, if there was a way for you to have a designated one, I think that would be cool. Or have an upgrade system. I don't know. Like, I'm imagining like the mounts in Red Dead, where you could get better ones and they do different things like that. Like, I think that would be cool, or be able to equip them with something or make them stronger. That would add a lot more gameplay for like very little cost. Like, there you go. You just have to go kill people with them, or purchase things with the points, because there are points to use to purchase things like additional arrows or more runes for that, which I could see farming runes to add time, but it's like, there's nothing I want to use the runes on. There's nothing left in the game for me. The main story was like too easy, and it didn't have extra stuff to make me want to play afterwards. I'm trying to see if I left anything out. I think that I've pretty much covered everything. Now, I do want to say, I think the game is very well made. I think the game also kind of like, it expects the game to not be well made. Like, I'm playing it on ultra textures, and it says it needs 6 gigabytes of video RAM. I only have 2. I'm getting like 55 frames per second with this. Okay? There's no reason to say 6 when I have 2 and it runs very well. No reason at all. The game does run very well. The benchmark works incredibly well as well on the PC version, of course, is what I'm talking about. You aren't going to have to benchmark it for your PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. Perhaps I'm just burnt out on the combat, and that's why I'm not enjoying it anymore. Or maybe if I had friends come over and we like goofed around on this game and made our own little challenges or something. Or maybe eventually I'll just go back and do all the challenges. And I don't know why I would ever do the challenges. They're really boring. And they don't really have very good rewards. Like, what does... when I have everything I could want, there's no reason to do the challenges. So, I don't know. I think that's been it for my my video on Shadow of Mordor. Ultimately, I don't think that the combat is very fun. It's cool in the sense that you feel very powerful. But that also is its downfall, that it's not very skill based. It's very easy to do, and it's incredibly repetitive. Like, I remember I played through what was it? It was BioShock Infinite. People love that game, and I didn't really understand the story that well. And I played through it. I beat the game 3 times, and like, that combat is so repetitive. Oh my god, I would never want to do that again. And I don't think I would ever plan on beating this game again. There may be some cool, like an hour or 2 more I can mess around on, but I don't think I'm going to be able to squeeze very much time out of this. I did pick the game up for $30 brand new though, and I think it... Like, I don't regret buying it, though. I did have fun the time that I spent on it, but it's just, like, looking back, I don't know why I had fun playing it at all, and maybe I'm stupid and no one else will like it if they, like, thought about that stuff or something. Or maybe not even if they thought about it. Like, maybe they'd just play it and they'd be like, wow, I'm just, then they'd realize it, and they'd look at it and be like, okay, yeah, I'm just doing the same stuff over and over and over. This is kind of boring. But for whatever reason, I didn't really think about it whenever I initially played through it. I don't know. Maybe I'm leaving some stuff out. If I am, I will try and edit it in before I get out the video. Or you can just tell me about it in the comments and yell at me and tell me I should have talked about this or that. I suppose that's it. I'll see you guys. Bye. One last thing I forgot, I just recorded the gameplay to put this over, and guys, oh my god, the controls are at times very not optimal. Like, for instance, I was trying to free a beast from a cage, and I kept going to hit it, and it would auto-correct onto a guy, and then I'd keep going back to it, trying to hit it, and it'd keep hitting the guy instead of hitting the cage. There were times I'd try and climb up things, and I couldn't. There were times I tried to dodge, and instead it would make me jump onto something, so I would get hit. There were times where I would get stuck. I literally could not jump down a ledge, and so I'd get hit from it. I'd try, like, oh my god, the A button, just trying to move around things. It corrects you, or it says, no, you can't go there, we don't want you to go there, until, I don't know, whatever you do to appease the game. Because you're supposed to be able to do it, like jumping down the ledge or hitting open the gate, or me like just jumping over a guy. Like sometimes it'll just things just don't work. Like I'll hit a guy and then it won't let me jump back for some reason. So yeah, you'll see that in the gameplay definitely. There's a time where I'm fighting a war chief and 2 of his bodyguards, I think it was. Yeah, he had 2 bodyguards, and it was just I kept getting hit. One time I went down on purpose to show how the recovery system works, but another time, like, I didn't mean to go down. Like, it's just I keep getting screwed up by the controls. So I'd recommend, if you get it on PC, try using the keyboard and mouse. I think that would probably work better, because maybe not as many actions would be bound to the same button, since you have a very wide spectrum of keys to hit on the keyboard as opposed to the Xbox 360 controller. So there you go. Maybe you should do that instead. Maybe that'll help out. But yeah, you'll see it in the video definitely, what I'm talking about.